Hello everybody, welcome to Ethnon Rail. How it all started, it's Christmas 1963. I'm 2 years old and my granddad bought me something that was going to impact my life for a very, very long time and inspired in me a massive passion for railways. The picture on the actual box of the actual train set intrigued me immensely. I have memories as a young child of real trains. My dad was in the RAF and as a family we travelled a lot by train using his travel warrants. I spent a lot of my childhood in a city called Ripon, which used to have its own railway station. I have wonderful memories of my grandmother taking me to see the trains flashing past at Littlethorpe near Ripon, which is in North Yorkshire. Steam trains pulling maroon coaches in the last years of steam. Whilst at school, I still managed to get my railway fix. In the infants and junior schools, there would be a copy of the Ladybird book of British railway locomotives. When we lived abroad in Singapore, which was in the 1967 to 1969, they even had a copy of it in the school library. Well, it's December 1970. And after nagging my dad about how I wanted a blue diesel with yellow ends, just like the ones I've been seeing since returning from Singapore, for my model railway, he got me this for Christmas. It wasn't exactly what I wanted. He didn't realise I was hoping for a British locomotive. Nonetheless, I was very happy with it, and it was a good runner and had lights as well. I believe this loco is based on the ones used by the Victoria State Railways in Australia. Anyway, back to the railway story. It's Christmas 1974. My dad has realised that my model railway is getting a bit tired, and I had nagged him that I wanted a bigger layout. Mum had won her war over my model aircraft that were all gone, so I wanted something to replace them. Dad found out that my Super 4 track was no longer available and Hornby had moved on to System 6 track. So my Super 4 oval circuit has now become a System 6 oval with a passing loop with head shunt. So all new track with the addition of 3 points and quite a few straights. So we now come on to 1976, and it's a bit of a change for our family. Dad is taking voluntary redundancy from the RAF after a career spanning over 20 years. And it was also the year that Dad actually took an interest in my model railway and invested a great deal in a joint project with me. We had chosen a plan and the track was purchased. Plan 4 from the Hornby Track Plans 4th edition. Sadly, the layout was never built as we had moved house again. My dad went into serious study mode to qualify for his civil aviation engineering licenses, and he started a new career as an instructor and never showed interest in the model railway again. The 6x4 baseboard was not purchased, so I was stuck with all this track. My schoolwork had intensified dramatically by the spring, and I was enjoying my time in the ATC, the Air Training Corps, learning to fly gliders. In the early 80s, I actually managed to build a small layout, very small end-to-end. What I did was to save time, I laid the track on a wargaming grass mat using track pins. I painted the rail sides with a rust-coloured paint and then ballasted the track sections. The layout was decorated with model trees and shrubs, and I used Hornby diesel motive depot, goods shed and signal box for buildings. The layout was designed for single locomotive operation, utilising the sidings and loop to showcase my growing loco and rolling stock collection. During this period of time, I amassed a few locomotives. I bought some new and some second hand. I concentrated on diesel types as they are the ones I would see in everyday life, but I did have another steam engine, the Flying Scotsman. And here she is. She's in a bit of a state. She's a non-runner, so needs a bit of repair. So in 1984 I followed my father's footsteps and joined the Royal Air Force, and I had to put the model railway on the back burner. There was no space for one, though I did have a brief time with some N-scale locomotives. So then not a lot happened really. A little period in mid-2000s. I had so much real life stuff happening that encompassed all my free time. But I did manage to buy this. Yep, the Blue Pullman. It was something I've always had a weakness for, always a great interest in. And in Hornby they actually released this, I think about 2009, and it had a lovely Class 37 and a rake of Mark II coaches in the lovely Nanking blue. But I had to have her. Now the actual Class 47 that pulled the Blue Pullman in the train set is called Dionysus. Now in real life the Blue Pullman was pulled by two Class 47s and the other one was called Artemis. Couldn't find her anywhere. So in 2020, it was coming up to Father's Day, and my son, Neon Lake, asked me what I wanted for my Father's Day present. So after a quick search online, I actually found a Class 47 in Nanking blue, and it was Artemis. So I said, I'd like that one please. And there she is. 47712 Artemis in Nanking blue. I remember correctly, 47712 also used to be known as the Lady Diana Spencer. So, for the very first time, seen together, Artemis and Dionysus. So, I decided at long last to return to the hobby and actually do something about a layout. And the best place with enough space would be in the loft of the house. Lots of railway modellers choose this place to have their layouts. I realised that a lot of work would be required to do this. I started essential repairs to the chimney breast and walls. This continued through the summer of 2020, and it got really hot up there. The roof would have to be insulated. Some sort of temperature control would be needed. Undaunted, I carried on with the maintenance and repairs, but I still needed something to run my trains on in the meantime, even if it was just used for running in and testing. So I actually built a dual circuit layout on an 8-foot by 4-foot board. So 2021 comes around. I'd made a lot of progress on the loft, then thought that at the end of the year I would be turning 60. My wife, Cleo, also known as Cleopatra, was starting to struggle with the loft ladder, and I thought, how was I to future-proof this? My legs will eventually not be so good as well, especially spending a lot of my time on my knees on cold concrete hanger floors and hard standings. I would need a ground floor layout, and the only place with plenty of room was the garden. A lot of railway modellers use garages or sheds. The conditions are similar to loft layouts, but at least they are on ground level. So, what's next? Well, to date, I have now had a rather large shed built in my garden. The dimensions are 30 foot by 10 foot. I'll do more on this project on the next video. Meanwhile, I've been designing the main station for this layout that I'm going to be building, and it'll be based on a Great Western Railway station. It will have up and down fast roads in the centre of the design with two platforms located in loops, and will also have a small goods yard. So more on these projects in later videos. Hope you do stick with me, and see you in the next one. Bye for now.